Hi everybody, this is Dr. Anil Kumar. I am making this video about what all you should know about the EDIC Part 1 exam registration and what all the requirements, okay, what all you need to sit for an EDIC Part 1 examination, okay. So first coming to the EDIC Part 1 exams, see the EDIC Part 1 exam happens twice a year, okay, one in the summer and one in the winter, okay. The winter session happens in the April, okay, and the summer session the summer session happens in the April, the winter one happens in the September, okay. So the registration for the April session, exam session, usually happens in December. The registration for the September exam happens in April, okay. So actually in the website, ESSM website, in the EDIC exam website, the date of registration and from what time the registration starts will be displayed much earlier, okay, 1 month or 2 months before that. So you can keep a track on the website and you will come to know the date and time from when the registration will start, okay. So who all can write this exam, EDIC Part 1? See, many have that misconception that to sit for EDIC Part 1 you need some fellowship or some degree in intensive care medicine. That is wrong, okay. You need not do any fellowship or you need not have some completed DM degree or some IDCCM to write for an EDIC Part 1 exam, okay. See, the ICU experience of 12 to 18 months is enough, okay. So if you are post MD anesthesiology in critical care medicine or post MD internal medicine or post MD chest medicine, okay, you can also write this exam without actually doing any training, especially in intensive care medicine, okay. So for example, myself, I have done my MD anesthesiology, and soon after my 4 to 5 months after once I completed my MD, I took the Part 1 exam. But then what is the requirement is, see, the head of the department letter from the head of the department which says that you have an ICU experience of 12 to 8 months. That is enough for write the EDIC Part 1 exam, okay. Actually during the registration process they specifically ask for the head of the department letter. So if the letter from your HOD says that you have an ICU experience of 12 to 15 or 15 to 18 months during your training, during your MD training, you can write EDIC Part 1 examination, okay. So during registration, what all you need is, you need an MBBS certificate, you may need a passport number, and you need an HOD letter saying that you have a 12 to 15 months of ICU experience, okay. They will not ask you the MD certificate or DM or fellowship, nothing, okay. Just an HOD letter which says that you have completed an MBBS and also you have an ICU experience, you worked in ICU for 12 to 15 or 18 months. That much is enough for the EDIC Part 1 examination, okay. I have done my MD anesthesia, I completed my MD anesthesiology in September 2021, okay, and I registered for EDIC in December 2021 and I gave in April 2022 and I cleared Part 1 exams, okay. So you need not have a degree specific in intensive care medicine to write this exam, okay. That's, I think I'm clear. Next, the registration day is very important, okay. Once you come to know that the registration day from the website, you have to take off from work on that day and you have to completely dedicate that time for the registration process, because many people from the world write this EDIC examination, how the competition. So once the registration starts, within 3 to 4 hours the registration will get over. All the slots for the exams will be booked in 3 to 4 hours. When I registered, the registration started at 1 p.m. and all the seat slots were booked by 3:30 to 4 p.m. okay. So you should keep trying from the time of the registration, starting of registration, so that then only you can register, okay. If you sit around, say if you go from the work, then you keep trying registration will not, because the slots will be getting over very, very fast, okay. So you should take off from work and you should try for the registration if you're seriously preparing and you want to write the exam. So one more is how much it cost, okay. The registration for EDIC Part 1 cost around 760 euros, which comes around 64 to 65,000 in Indian rupees. And what all not needed, I already told you, your degree certificate, MD degree certificate, or your any certificate, degree like IDCCM certificate or your DM degree certificate, these are all not required for EDIC Part 1 examination. Just an MBBS certificate and an HOD, head of the department letter, saying that you have a 12 to 15 months of an ICU experience. That's all they want, okay. Then your application will be validated, especially if that HOD letter is there, okay. That is very important. And So see, if you pass the part 1, next what you will do, see the how to prepare for the part 1 examination, what are the books to read, how much time required, what are the resources. I have made already a different separate video for that. Please go to my channel and watch that video. I have made a video about how to pass EDIC part 1 in the first attempt. You can always watch that. So this video is not about how to go or how to pass the exam. This is about only the registration process and the date and what all you need. Okay, then after passing the part 1 examination, you can take part 2. Okay, but the main advantage of this exam is, as per my knowledge, there is no time limit between part 1 and part 2 examination. Okay, if you pass the part 1 examination now, you can take part 2 anytime after this. Okay, there is no time limit between part 1 and part 2. If you pass the part 1, it's always valid. You can give part 2 or even after 5 years also. Okay, so that's an advantage, because see, I did my part 1 soon after my MD. So I've been reading the theory about the ICU and all those from my MD days, so that I could clear this part 1 exam. But part 2 is entirely clinical. So for that, I really need a very good ICU exposure, a very good ICU clinical knowledge. So for that, I really need to work in ICU for a year or two minimum, okay, to appear for the exam. So if there was a time limit between part 1 and part 2, that would have been a problem for me. Since there is no time limit, so it is not a limiting factor to take a part 1 after your MD. If you are really interested in intensive care, and if your HOD is ready to give that letter saying that you have an ICU experience, and if you actually have that ICU experience of 12 to 15 months during your MD, you can really actually better to write part 1 and keep it so that you can prepare for part 2. Okay, so I spoke about the registration, when will happen, and what all you need for registration, the exam fees, and the most important, that HOD letter. And if you want to watch about how to prepare and all, please watch my other video already made. You can always find it in my YouTube channel. Okay, I think this video is useful for you guys. It's a very short video. I thought of making, because many people are asking about make a video about registration process, so I did it. I think it's useful for you. If you find it useful, please like and subscribe the channel. I try to make more videos on how to prepare for other exams also, since I'm always also preparing for EDIC and FRCA. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.